All right, guys, I've been wanting to make this video for a long time, and I'm glad I'm finally able to do it. That's not the one I wanted to go to. All right, here we are. So I want to talk about my vitamin D levels from this past September. Now, there's some other things I want to talk about, but I'll save that for a different video. I want to talk about how in the last year and a half, I actually doubled my vitamin D. So I'll tell you exactly what I did to do that, and a little bit of a caveat, perhaps. So let's go here, and of course I don't mind sharing my personal info about this, obviously, but yeah, hopefully maybe to be an encouragement. So a little bit of a backstory. I think I mentioned it before in a different video, but I have been kind of struggling a little bit with like some depression issues and things like that. And if you hear a bunch of sounds in the background, I'm just working right now, so don't mind that. But that's like the best time to make videos because I have all the time in the world to do that when I'm working. But anyway, I can kill two birds with one stone. Why not? So yeah, I had some depression issues and kind of like higher anxiety than usual and just weird things going on, and wanted to get my vitamin D tested. I mean, among other things, but I thought, well, why not? One huge complaint I have about that, though, is that if you want to get your vitamin D tested, at least where I went, you have to have like a good reason for it. I mean, it should be, given how important vitamin D is, it should be something that you get tested routinely and your insurance should cover for it. But I was told my BMI has to be above 25 if my insurance is going to cover for it. That's completely ridiculous. It's not the doctor's fault or anything like that, but I was really not happy about that at all. But whatever. So luckily, my BMI was above 25. Now, that's not accounting for like muscle, body fat percentage and all of that. So I'm not sure what it was. But I remember while I was waiting in the office, because I asked about it, waiting in the office, and the nurse or doctor, whoever it was, went to go see if I was, able to qualify for that. But I was doing the math, like I looked it up, like, okay, I weigh this much, I'm this is my height, what's my BMI? So I think I weighed like 185-ish, and I'm 5'8". So whatever number that comes to, I was above 25. Anyway, so I mainly went in there because, I've been on SSRIs before in the past for anxiety, like different times throughout my life. And I thought, well, maybe I'll just go in. That's like literally the only medication I've ever been on my entire life, outside of like antibiotics or some temporary thing. But I thought, okay, maybe I'll start another round of that. It might help. And I always go very low dose. So I was taking like a low dose version of Zoloft. Like last time I did it was like 3-ish years ago, 2.5 years ago. And so I can't remember the generic name, sertraline or something like that. But normal-ish is like 50 milligrams, or 75 is like the therapeutic dose. I've been normally just taking 25, so very low dose, all things considered. But anyway, but while I was there, I'm like, this would be a great time to check my vitamin D, because I thought, well, maybe my vitamin D is low. And if it is, then, it's an easy thing to fix. I have something to look forward to for fixing this weird onset of like depression and whatever. So that was my reasoning. And I wasn't expecting this, as you can see my result here. So yeah, this was obviously September 4th, as you can see, of this year. I'll go to view trends and bring up the last times I had this tested. Last time was about a year and a half ago, January 29th, 2024. And you can see it's like almost exactly half of what it was. So what did I do to get this bumped up or double the amount? Now, vitamin D, I'm not going to go into like the reason why it's super important so much, but it is important for muscle building and for health in so many different ways. So when I saw this number, I was really like encouraged. Some people might complain, oh, it's too high. But I mean, it's within the range, you know, according to what they say here. So I mean, I'm not going to get into that whole minutia of things, but I think a lot of people would say this is pretty good. And I think everything, you need to balance everything with like what's the rest of your nutrition like with that vitamin D. It's not just vitamin D, which I'll get into. But anyway, what was I going to say? So yeah, I was really happy, but then I was also kind of bummed out, like, oh, okay, well, that's one lever I can't pull then if I want to help like my depression. So I can't just like take more vitamin D because it's pretty high. But anyway, so yeah, the last time I had it done was earlier last year, and I think I had to fight for that one too. Like, I don't know, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, my vitamin D, it should be a normal practice to get that tested, given how extremely important it is. And that also brings up with everything too. Like, why do you have to, you know, be overweight? BMI is not the best way to approach it, but, you know, according to them or insurance or whatever, you have to be above, you know, 25, which is, in their view, an indicator that you're overweight, but it's not counting body mass, you know, your fat percentage, muscle percentage, whatever, just a generic number. That shouldn't be a reason for it. You shouldn't have to be sick in order. I mean, your doctor, it shouldn't be a sick care system. It should be a preventative thing. You know, let's see how healthy you can get yourself, kind of a thing. Not just, you know, let's throw some drugs at you whenever you're sick and try to treat yourself, your person, when you are sick. You know, I hate it, but whatever, that's the way it is. Big pharma and all that. So anyway, yeah, so last time I had it done, you can see, was then. I was just curious. I think back then my mindset was like, I just want to know, like, for, I don't know, hormones, bodybuilding purposes. Like, I would love to get a full hormonal profile done as well, but that's another issue, which I'll talk about maybe next time. You have to fight for that as well. Anyway, so yeah, you can see it doubled. And I want to tell you exactly what I did. And yeah, and if you want to follow suit, you can. Now, the caveat is, you can see right here. Also that, just knowing I work outside. I'm working right now, as I mentioned. I work as a letter carrier. I am literally right now walking and talking, delivering mail at the same time. And I'm outside in the sun quite a bit, especially in the summer. Now, I don't know how much had like sunlight influenced these numbers. You can see the last time I had it done was also around in the winter months, and it was a little bit lower. I don't know, and I was taking vitamin D actually the last time in January 29, 2024. I remember it was a lower dose vitamin D, maybe like 5,000 IUs. It may not have been every single day. It may have been like every couple of days or so. I mean, sometimes they'll tell you to do that on the bottle, like, just take once every 3 days or so. But it was just vitamin D by itself. It wasn't like a bunch of other things that assist that vitamin D, which I'll get into. So when I retook that test on September, I was taking a higher dose vitamin D, Dr. Berg's vitamin D. I think I made a video about that. It not only has vitamin D, 10,000 IUs. I think I was taking it almost every day actually too. But it also has other things that assist that vitamin D. It's got vitamin K2 in it, which is great. Zinc, I wish it didn't have as much zinc. But, you know, they could easily split that in half, or at least add a tiny bit of copper. Seriously wish it would do that. And it's got magnesium in there. I also wish it would add a little bit of boron. However, I did get my own boron supplement from Life Extension on Amazon. And I think it was 3 milligrams, I want to say. Very cheap, by the way. I think it was only like $5 or $6 for like 100 of them. You get a lot, and it also included vitamin B2. So I was taking that with the vitamin D, and all that stuff works together. So how much of that contributed to my doubling of vitamin D, and how much did the sunlight change that as well? I really do not know, but that's really all I did. Yeah, it's as easy as that. I don't think there was any major dietary changes. I mean, what do I eat that has vitamin D in it that would have changed from that time to this time? I'm not really sure. Can't really think of anything. So I know, yeah, there are some foods, and that's kind of what you want to do. You want to get vitamin D from all three sources. You want to get some of it from food, you want to get some of it from sunlight, and you want to get some of it from supplementation, especially if you live further north like I do in Wisconsin, Manitowoc, Wisconsin area. So yeah, that's really all I did. Now, how long was I taking the vitamin D before I was tested? I don't remember, or at least, how long have I been taking the Dr. Berg's vitamin D? I honestly don't remember. You can look back at my videos and see when I talked about the Dr. Berg vitamin D, and that's probably about when I started taking it. So maybe a couple months, 3 months or so, probably the beginning of summer. So yeah, again, I don't know how much of that was from just being out in the sun a little bit more. It's really hard to say. And I'm pretty sure that your body, I'm outside in the sun a lot in the summer. If I stay indoors the next 3 days and test, at the end of that time being out in the sun, and then 3 days later, would it really change? And if that was the only thing I was doing, no vitamin D supplementation, how long does it take to reduce the vitamin D in your blood due to sunlight? That I'm not sure. And I'm still out in the sun. I'm just, I'm covered up more in the winter months, and I'm not really sure how much of that, hitting your face, or, my hands are exposed sometimes, how much of, vitamin D is created then, and just, because it's a different time of the year, I think you get less of that UV that's responsible for vitamin D creation. So even if you had your full body exposed, it wouldn't create as much just because it's later in the year. So, and of course it gets darker sooner as well. Yeah, so I don't know. There's some nuance there, sure, but still the numbers are looking pretty good. And yeah, that's what I did. It would be interesting to see, because I have a doctor appointment, just my yearly physical, whatever, and I think it's around February, maybe mid-February or so. I can probably look it up right now on here, but yeah, it's coming up in a few months. I wonder if they'll allow me to get this tested. Now, the other thing too is when I had it tested last time, let's see. I mean, it's not going to say on here, but when I had it tested last time, it was expensive, like way more than I thought it would be, even after insurance. I got the bill, so you can see here, January 29th. I remember getting the bill like almost at the end of the year for this test. It was pretty stupid, but I don't remember how much it was. I just remember being surprised, and yeah, that was kind of stupid. You can see here it's talking about the colonoscopy. I should talk about that too sometime. I know some people, I've been learning this now, you really shouldn't have a colonoscopy done because it's a bit more, there's all these different factors involved, but it was a preventative thing, or just to see, what's wrong thing. Eventually I ended up being okay. I really do want to talk about that sometime, just my health journey in general. But these two things here you see abnormal, that's what I want to talk about next time, because it actually wasn't so much abnormal, but there's a lot of good things about it. Now you can see February 13th. So yeah, about a year from then, which will be in a few months, is my next appointment. And I'm curious to see if I can maintain a lot of the good numbers, or even improve them. So yeah, we'll get to that in another video. But yeah, so what do you guys think about this? Are you doing pretty good with your vitamin D levels? You want to try the Dr. Berg vitamin D. I think it's an excellent choice, especially if you get the higher dose one, because it's cheaper that way. You get more of the supplement. I just don't like how it has so much zinc in it. It's like 20 milligrams of zinc and no copper. You kind of want to balance that out a little bit. So I'm kind of debating, should I get a copper supplement? Currently, I'm only taking it once every 3 days. Maybe I'll up that a little bit because I'm heading into darker months and stuff. I'm encouraging my 16-year-old to also take it once every 3 or so days, just because I think it's an excellent thing. I'm trying to get my wife to do it as well. It's harder to get her to take anything, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, I'm on the higher end of optimal, and I think that's pretty good, despite my depression, anxiety issues going on. But that's a whole other thing we could talk about another time. But yeah, that's my story. And again, like, vitamin D is super important. The one thing, like the one major thing I've not been doing right, and this probably contributes to a lot of my depression issues, is sleep. I get horrible amounts of sleep, like in the tune of maybe averaging around 6 or just barely over 6 hours a night most times. That's not good for bodybuilding, for building muscle or losing body fat. But hey, at least, at least I have some good numbers in areas like this, so maybe kind of help offset that a little bit, and other things I do, creatine monohydrate and other things. But yeah, I need to work on sleep even still. So all right, that's all I have for now. Let me know what you think, and if you have a story like this, vitamin D story, let me know.